Hello and welcome to Smart Agriculture. I am Vivian Fernandez. We assume that because 70% of Indians reside in rural areas and they live off 15% of India's GDP, labor is available for the asking. But the latest national sample survey shows that only 40% of rural households live primarily off agriculture, and even they get 40% of their income from other sources. Go to any village and farmers will complain of labor shortage. This is aggravated by spikes in demand during sowing and harvesting. Farm mechanization is therefore catching up, though the pace of the past decade has been arrested by a slowing in wage rate growth caused by a decline in commodity prices.
At a field in Kagal in Maharashtra's Kolhapur district, we watch a mowing machine terrifying in aspect and singular in purpose. Like a hurricane, it brooks no opposition. Blade an inch below the ground neatly cut the cane. Other mechanisms chop the cane after separating it from trash, which is spat onto the ground to enrich the soil. In 2 hours, this harvester would have done an acre a job, which would have taken 10 workers about 4 days. At 265 rupees a ton, workers are cheaper to engage, but they are hard to find and harder to please. Machine cutting costs more at 300 rupees a ton, but the sugar recovery is higher because no stubs are left behind. Factories here pay for cutting and transportation. They prefer machines.
मशीन से कटने से फ़ायदा क्या होता है कि तो इसका स्पीड अच्छा रहता है, पूरा कटिंग अच्छा तरह से होता है और निचले का भाग जो अच्छा ज़्यादा शुगर का होता है वो पूरा कट होता है।
अभी तक तो बहुत अच्छा है, आगे का आगे, लेकिन अभी तक
This machine costs 1.25 crore rupees and has been financed mainly with a bank loan. The local sugar factory has guaranteed business in its catchment area. It has awarded the cane harvesting contract on the basis of the lowest quote. The machine owner expects to recover the investment in about 12 years because this is smallholder country, where small field sizes prevent machine operation.
वो एक तो उनके पास उनके मशीन आने की जगह रास्ता नहीं है और उनकी बहुत छोटी ज़मीन है और पानी का प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है क्योंकि ये मशीन आने के लिए पूरा एरिया ड्राई होना चाहिए.
Farm mechanization got a boost in the last decade from high economic growth and the global commodities boom. Plentiful work in the construction sector and the Manrega rural job scheme pulled workers out of agriculture. While the country's total workforce increased by 10 million between 2005 and 2011, those engaged in agriculture fell by 31 million. The share of agricultural workers in the total workforce slipped from 57% to 49%. In the latest national sample survey, agricultural households cited labor as a significant component of monthly crop production costs, accounting for 21% of the total, next only to fertilizer. Tractor sales also got a boost. Annual sales doubled from nearly 250,000 to over 5 lakh and touched a peak of nearly 6.5 lakh in 2013-14. They have declined off late with the economy flagging and commodity prices softening. But while the pace of mechanization has slowed down, it will not reverse.
We are debating and discussing whether this global price collapse in agri prices is it going to last for a long time or will it see the turning after 6 months, 1 year? But as per the data that we have, the stocks and the production structures globally, it seems we'll have to wait for at least 1 year before a turning around can come. That means during this period, the mechanization will slow down, and that's the time when the role of the state comes in.
Mechanization meant tractors. Punjab leads in this respect. According to an expert, it has one for every 10 hectares. Much of the time, these are idle, working just 350 hours a year when they should be doing 1,000 hours to justify the investment. What we require is useful mechanization. Cotton picking is waiting for affordable machines, and so is sugarcane harvesting.
Agriculture in Punjab on the current scale is impossible without machines, even if workers were available and farmers were willing to pay more. In Punjab, wheat is grown on 84% of the total cultivated area of 4.2 million hectares. paddy covers 68% of the cultivated land. It has to be harvested during a 3-week window, failing which the subsequent wheat crop will miss the period in March and April, when the temperature is ideal for the grains to bulk up before the heat sets in.
कंपटीशन सर जी कंबाइन का तो बहुत ज़्यादा कंपटीशन है, घर घर हो गई हमारे तो बहुत ज़्यादा है। तो काम भी ऐसे ये गेहूं का तो 15 दिन में काम निपट जाता है।
क्योंकि इससे टाइम बहुत बचता है, क्योंकि अगर हम बस से हाथ से कटाई कराएंगे उसमें टाइम बहुत लगता है और 1-2 टिक्कर तक तो ठीक होता है। अगर इतनी ज़्यादा करनी हो तो उससे टाइम नहीं मतलब पूरा, और उसकी लेबर की मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा है, वो बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे लेते हैं और काम बहुत धीरे चलता है।
Nurpur Bait is a village on the outskirts of Ludhiana. It has a grain mandi where we find farmers hanging around, some of them for a week, waiting for the state government to procure wheat. Better known as a cooperative by that name, which is described by an academic as a case study. It owns machines worth ₹500 crore and rents them out at affordable rates.
1 घंटे का 650 रुपया लेते हैं। डीजल भी हमारा है और इम्प्लीमेंट भी हमारा, ट्रैक्टर भी हमारा, तो सारा कुछ हमारा। हमने खेत से जाके उसके जमींदार के ज़मीन में जाके टाइम नोट करते हैं और ज़मीन से ही बंद हो जाता है।
The cooperative's fuel pump is a big draw with its 743 members who have 4,000 acres between them across 6 villages. They trust it for unadulterated diesel and correct measurement. A news report says Ludhiana has 363 cooperatives, but Nurpur Bait is one of the few in the state that makes a profit. Private rental companies also have huge fleets of machines and are thriving, given the highly mechanized nature of agriculture in the state.
Wheat is almost, I can say, 100% mechanized from planting to the harvesting. In the rice transplanting, that's still major part is manually transplanted, but the harvesting and the other operation have been mechanized.
Here in an agriculture university in Maharashtra's Parbhani district, state government officials have been invited for a demonstration of mechanized cotton sowing and picking. Because of shortage of labor, farmers are unable to sow early in the monsoon season. Those that fail to catch the first showers wait for the next. The sowing season extends from 15th June all the way to 25th July. As the intensity of rain increases, there is a greater chance of damage to saplings, with consequent impact on yields. Cotton picking is also awaiting machines because getting labor is a production in itself, especially for later pickings, when there is not enough lint to pick, unlike early on when workers charged by the kilogram and can make upwards of 350 rupees a day. In Punjab, it costs about 6,000 rupees to pick an acre of cotton. For mechanical picking, both the rows and the plants have to be reconfigured. The rows should be designed for machine movement. The plants are densely planted to compensate for fewer pickings. They must be of uniform height, flower at the same time, and not be bushy.
When we want to switch over to the mechanization thing, it's not only the machine will come and do the operation the similar way, we have to change whole of the system, maybe the varieties which will suit mechanization, and the agronomy, you have to shift the root spacing, number of plants, the varieties which should mature at one time. So the whole of the system has to be tuned up with the mechanization.
We slip into a break. When we return, a concept that turns farm mechanization on its head, where machines are used to enable not more earth churning but less or not at all. You're watching Smart Agriculture. Welcome back to Smart Agriculture. Traditional cultivation has been associated with earth churning, the more the better. A farmer told me the wisdom he received was that a field should be so finely milled that his wrestler should not get hurt when thrown through the ground. But here at the Borlaug Institute for South Asia, they are recommending no-till or less-till agriculture. It's the equivalent of minimally invasive surgery.
At the Borlaug Institute for South Asia, or BISA's 500-acre campus in Ludhiana, agricultural machinery is arranged like in a military garrison. Pride of place belongs to the laser leveler, which can create flat surfaces with as little as half an inch variation, so water can spread quickly without stagnating. Sharing rank is the combine harvester, with a device at the back to spread straw in the field, and the direct seeder, which can place rice, wheat, moong or any seed at required depths and intervals rank high. The tractor has been knocked off its perch because under conservation agriculture, which BISA recommends for India, land cannot be tilled. Tilling leads to loss of moisture. It also destroys capillaries formed by roots which keep the soil soft. The tractor is just a vehicle for movement and a device for supply of motive power to attachments. The rotavator, which can mill the earth to powder, is an outcast.
There are three principles of conservation agriculture: that minimum or no till disturbance to the soil, no till or minimum disturbance to the soil, and you have to keep the residue cover on the surface. And third thing, you have to add a pulse in the rotation, that don't take mono rice wheat, maize wheat. You have to add another like legume into the. So these are the three principles. With these three principles, you can get more profit, richer resources, and more important is climatic adaptation.
BISA's Jabalpur farm has not much use for the laser leveler, as the surfaces here are uneven, the soil black and clayey, and sprinkler irrigation the norm, unlike in the Indo-Gangetic plain where fields are flooded. But both practice conservation agriculture, where previous crop residue is not burnt but left behind to conserve moisture, suppress weeds and nourish the soil. The crops are grown on raised beds to save water. Here paddy is being sown by parting the straw in the dry and hot month of May, as it is difficult to work the fields during monsoons, which are a month away. This kind of agriculture goes back to basics, but it is not primitive. It requires machines.
Farmers are still doing conservation even with the traditional drills, planters that they have, but those planters disturb the soil more. So we say reduce the disturbance to the soil. So definitely we require new machines.
The Directorate of Weed Research at Jabalpur has made conservation agriculture its flagship program for the past 3 years. It has held about 100 demonstrations on farmers' fields and has found the response very encouraging, despite their initial apprehensions. The state has agreed to give 40% subsidy for seeders. By not having to wait for monsoons at the end of June and sowing rice in dry May itself, conservation agriculture is bringing large areas that remained fallow under cultivation. This form of agriculture requires expertise, experience, and also the use of herbicides besides machinery.
Herbicides are very effective. They are quite cheap, and unlike other pesticides like insecticides or fungicides, the herbicides do not have much of any residual effect. So this kind of agriculture is not only machine driven, but it is also herbicide driven. Herbicides are essentially required for managing weeds, and controlling weeds by the use of herbicides is very simple, very easy, very cheap compared with the conventional methods which the farmers are adopting.
One of the first converts to conservation agriculture in Jabalpur is Satish Dubey, who has been practicing it on the 35 acres of owned and leased land for the past 3 years. Farmers like him do not require persuasion, as they save money in field preparation even before the first seed is sown, which is about 1/5 of the cost.
पहले जब मैं पुराने हिसाब से खेती करता था, हर साल मार खाता था मैं। कारण क्या था कि 4,000 रुपये मेरा पहले ही इन्वेस्ट हो जाता था बोनी से पहले, क्योंकि 4 बार जुताई करना, बोनी करना, उसके बाद में बीज 80 किलो डालना, जो आज हम 40 किलो डाल रहे हैं। तो हमारा ये तो पहली बात 4000 तो पहले बचा लिया। उसके बाद में हमारा ये प्रोडक्शन है, प्रोडक्शन हमारा 12-13 से ज़्यादा नहीं जाता था, अब 17-18 करीब करीब जाता है मेरा प्रोडक्शन।
Ajay Sharma has 50 acres of his own and his large joint family own 10 times the area. This is the first time he is doing moong as a third crop. Normally, farmers like him do 2 crops in this part of the country, usually rice and wheat. The time saved from field preparation has enabled Ajay to sow an opportunistic short-duration crop of green gram, which is advocated under conservation agriculture as a way to naturally enrich the soil with nitrogen. But a part of Ajay's land is ploughed. Does it mean he is not fully convinced?
नहीं, वो तो मैं गेहूं के उत्पादन से ही समझ गया था कि मशीन बहुत ही अच्छी है, इसलिए मैंने लगभग काफ़ी एरिया में मूंग उसी तरीके से बोई है। मेरा दूसरे खेतों में अपने ही तरीके से खेती करने का उद्देश्य ये है कि अभी मशीन हमें उपलब्ध नहीं हो पा रही है।
Mithilesh Kumar Shukla has 13 acres and he has sown moong the traditional way on 1.5 acres. When asked how he can wax about conservation agriculture when he has not done it himself, he says he is convinced by what he has seen.
देखने से तो जो अभी अनुभव हो रहा है सर, तो उससे तो बहुत ये लगता है कि अच्छी खेती है, अच्छी व्यवस्था है। और चूँकि सीमित व्यवस्था है, गांव के लोग हैं, हम लोग एक दूसरे से मिलते रहते हैं और जो भी काम होते हैं यहाँ से एक दूसरे की देख रेख में होते हैं। तो जब इनने बोनी की थी सर, तब भी वहाँ मैं था, जब कटाई की तब भी वहाँ था और टोटल फसल में साथ में था। अब वो चाहे खेती अपनी हो, चाहे भैया की हो, चाहे किसी की हो, उत्पादन तो आखिर उससे जो मिल रहा फ़ायदा, तो वो आज उनको मिला है, कल हम करेंगे तो हमको भी सर उसका फ़ायदा मिलेगा। तो ये एक बहुत अच्छी व्यवस्था है, क्योंकि अभी तक हम लोग केवल 2 खेती करते थे सर, केवल गेहूं और धान। पर ये नई व्यवस्था जो बन रही है, इससे अब गेहूं के ऊपर मूंग उड़द की फसल लेने की एक आस जगी है किसान में।
In Punjab, we see moong growing in a standing field of wheat. It will be harvested just before the monsoons set in, and rice is to be sown. Wheat and cotton, or moong after wheat followed by rice, is the kind of sustainable intensification conservation agriculture makes possible with some of the new machines and practices. And this is not a fad. Punjab's economic survey says in 2001, just 750 hectares was under zero-till agriculture in the state. 10 years later, it has spread to 7.49 lakh hectares, or 18% of Punjab's cultivated land. It is still a long way from Brazil, where it is practiced on 32 million hectares, in Argentina on 29 million hectares, in the United States on 27 million hectares, and in Australia on 18 million hectares. Conservation agriculture, together with other crop technologies, could take us to the next green revolution.
If we sincerely fine-tune our policies towards its promotion, then we can feed another India. That is my firm belief. But if we continue with the same old rut, without addressing the fatigues and soil health problems, there is no way we can even sustain.
Indian farmers do not need much convincing, but the cost of laser levelers, direct seeders, and high horsepower tractors deters them. The government must step in with easy loans to spread the use of these machines and make the Punjabi saying "Dab ke wa or raj ke kha," plough hard and eat well, lapse into nostalgia.
That is all we have in this episode of Smart Agriculture. We'll be back with more. Till then, take care and goodbye.